Hey guys, Erica Evolution here. You guys haven't really heard very much from me here in the past, few months. Nothing really actually recently. A lot of the videos that were posted, not too long ago are actually kind of old, so as you can tell I have a totally different look to me now. I'm still banging. Just kidding. Anyways, basically I've been promising all of you guys that I'm going to post something serious, something that really needs to be discussed. Basically, what I want to talk to you guys about today is mental health awareness. A lot of people don't think that mental illness is that bad. And what they don't realize is it really is a horrible thing to deal with, to have yourself or to have someone that you love have a mental illness. It's literally a battle every day of your life. You're fighting to hang on. You're fighting to find reasons to keep going, You can have the most amazing life ever. You could have all the money in the world, and it's not going to change what's wrong with your brain. Two of the reasons why, actually I lied, about 3 reasons why I want to discuss this is, number one, I lost my father to suicide. I was about 14, and he had bipolar disorder. And I myself have bipolar disorder, so I got that from him. You see, my father would self-medicate. You have some people that have mental illness, a mental illness that will self-medicate. He self-medicated himself with alcohol, with pills, and, stuff like that. And my self-medication is music and being goofy, being around people that bring out the best in me is my medication. The people that I can be around, be myself, and they don't care, if I tell them to go fuck themselves, they know I'm kidding, people like that I can be myself around, my usual sarcastic asshole self, which I'm really not that big of an asshole. That's my medication there. That's what helps me, is people that bring out the best in me and make me realize, hey, I'm fighting for a reason, I'm here for a reason. And the whole world makes me realize I'm here for a reason. Because, I want to help everyone. The thing I fear the most is not being here, being, of course, deceased, and not being able to help people anymore. And that's what I fear the most. I don't fear death itself. I fear not being able to help. My third reason to why I'm so big on mental health awareness is I have a little brother on my father's side that sees and hears stuff. It bothers me. It scares me. I'm sure it scares him more. But it bothers me, because he has to live his life like that. But basically, mental illness is, what it is a key chemical imbalance in the brain. Basically, you're either producing too much serotonin or you're producing very little. There's so many, there's just a long list of different, mental illnesses and everything, and people don't realize it's almost as deadly as cancer. It's like cancer in so many ways. You sit there, you question yourself, you ask yourself, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? I didn't ask to be this way. Just like cancer patients, they're like, why me? This wasn't my choice. I did nothing to deserve this. That's how a lot of people with mental illness feels. And, there's so many problems with it in the world You tell somebody, hey, I have bipolar disorder. Yeah, don't want to talk to you. You're crazy. No, I'm not. You know? People judge you when you have something like that wrong with you. You know, just because you have bipolar disorder, you have fucking schizophrenia, you have multiple personality disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, you know, even ADHD or ADD, they're gonna judge you. And it's not their place to judge you. And I just want people to just understand that we're just like everybody else. Our brains don't work the same way. Our brains are a bit different, you know? And there's times when, you know, we'll have our moments where we're sitting in a fucking corner in a fetal position, rocking back and forth, crying, and we don't even know why. You know? I'm not going to sit there and say that I've sat in a corner and rocked in a fetal position and cried, because I haven't done that since I was at least 5. But, you know, there's things that we'll do that you'll question, and you'll be like, well, why'd you do that? And you'll be like, I don't know. You know, we'll act on impulse, like, be driving down the road, and you're like, I want to give this guy the finger, and just automatically do it. That's impulse. Well, actually, that's not a very good description of them acting on an impulse, but basically what I'm trying to say here is mental illness is a serious thing, you know? I'm not saying that it's so serious, like, oh, we go give people the finger all the... No, we don't go around giving people the finger all the fucking time. Some people with mental illness, they give up their fight. They give up their battle. You know, they get so down into the dumps and so damn depressed, they lay in their bed for days and days, and they're like, I'm not going to get better. This is not going to go away. I'm never going to be happy. I'm always going to feel like this. And they give up. They give up and they end their lives. But what they don't comprehend, what they don't want to think, and it's hard to think that, you know, that things are going to get better. It's hard to think to yourself like, hey, you know, I have so much more life ahead of me. It really is hard to think that way. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never been so down in the dumps that I wasn't about ready to end it, because I'd be lying, you know? It's just... You know, this video isn't really, you know, turning out the way I wanted to basically describe everything. Because, I mean, pretty much all I wrote on my notepad is mental health awareness. Hey guys, Erica Evolution here. Yeah. And then I wrote today and then scratched it out. So, basically, my train of thought's not so very good, and never is it ever really. But, I mean... people just don't understand what it's like to live like this. I'm not gonna sit here and say that cancer's not a fucking big, huge problem, because it is a big, huge problem. You know, and you see people doing like these runs and shit to raise awareness for cancer. Why can't we see people do runs for mental illness awareness? It's almost as bad. You've got, you know, people that are so, you know, good people, but have something wrong here, and they feel like nobody gives a shit, you know? And that's really how it feels. It feels like nobody cares about mental health. You know, our mind is the most important fucking thing about ourselves. You know, our brain's important. And I understand that we're never going to find a cure for all these lists of mental illnesses there is. But what I would like is for people to understand it. You know, just like they understand cancer. Just like they understand cancer and, like stomach ulcers and acid reflux disease, stuff like that. People comprehend that, but they don't want to take the time to comprehend mental illness. It's a serious thing. You know, there's so many people that give up their fight. They lose hope in everything. And what people with mental illness really need is for people to comprehend us and for the people around us to sit there and say, hey, it's gonna get better. Sitting there and telling us when we're depressed that, hey, what's your problem? You have no reason to be sad. Or pushing us away. That's not the thing to do. When you have a friend and they're upset and they're sad and they're acting, you know, irate and everything, don't be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You're just upset because so-and-so broke up with you or something like that. Don't be like, oh, you'll be alright. Go see a doctor. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Don't say something like that. Be there for them, because that's what we need, is for somebody to be there and be like, hey, I love you. I'm not going to let you go anywhere. I'll sit here on this fucking corner and look like a fucking hooker and hug you all night until you feel better if I have to. You know, that's what we need, is for somebody to be there. Someone to hold us when we're crying and we don't know why we're crying. Or, you know, someone to look at us and be like, it's gonna get better eventually. Just give it some time. Don't give up. You're so much stronger than that. You know, and I'm thankful to have the people I have in my life, because I've pretty much pushed away all the negative people out of my life, so I can have nothing but positivity. Because when you have negative people in your life, it makes you feel worse about yourself and about everything. But when you have positive people in your life, you feel so on top of the world. But yeah, you know. But mental illness, it's not something to joke about. Like, for instance, I'm not even going to say the word, because it's a word I prefer not to use, because I find that word to be offensive. I'll spell it out, but that's as close as you'll ever get to me ever saying the word. RETARDED. That's a word I don't use. That word is so offensive. And people don't realize that's a very offensive word. You know, people don't choose to be like that. People don't choose to have to depend upon someone to take care of them their whole lives. You know, we need to be more respectful to the words we use. For instance, when you say, you know, like my sweater that I'm wearing right now. You were to say, oh, that's gay ass sweater, you know. Some people take that to offense. I may be a lesbian. I'm not going to take it to offense, but other people will. And that, you know, goes back to the R word. It's offensive. Don't use it. Plain and simple. I work at McDonald's, and somebody apologized to me in the drive-thru when I was trying to take their order on the headset. They apologized to me and they said, oh, I'm sorry, I got a couple of R words. But they didn't say R words, they said the actual word in the back of my car. I refused to take their order after that. I had somebody else finish the order, because I would not take the order, because if I would have taken it anymore, I probably would have gone off on the guy. I wouldn't even hand his food out to him. That's how mad it made me. So we need to be more sensitive to stuff like that. We need to be more sensitive to people that have problems, that need help. You know, you should feel grateful when somebody comes to you and they're upset. That means they trust you. That means they know that you can help them. You know, me, I'm one of those people, I don't like to open up. You know, let's go back to whenever I first started talking in the video. I mentioned my father and what happened. I don't like to open up about those things, you know. It's something I prefer not to do. But, you know, hold on one second, I'm being very rude. you know, I know basically everything that I've been saying probably, like, does not sound like it really should go together. Like, my words are so, like, mixed up and bundled together that I'm probably not making sense, and I probably sound like a babbling idiot. But, you know, one thing that I'm all for is if someone was diagnosed with a mental illness before they committed a crime, way before they committed a crime, I don't think they should spend time in prison. I think that they should spend time in a mental hospital, depending on what type of problem they have with them. Like, me, for instance, with my bipolar, when I was a teenager, I had horrible temper. I'd get so mad at just the smallest little things that I would flip shit. You'd probably say, hey, your eyebrows look like shit today, Erica. I'd probably fucking knock you down on the fucking ground and not even hesitate. And not even remember it afterwards. But that was when I was younger. See, me, I'm one of those bipolars. I'm not medicated right now. I'm not on medication. I will admit, last week I was just so dark and deep into depression. It was ridiculous. I didn't want to do anything, hardly. You know, I didn't really want to go to work. I didn't want to speak to anybody. You wouldn't see me update anything on Snapchat. You wouldn't see me update anything on Instagram, Facebook, nothing. I wouldn't text anyone, nothing. Because I was so dark and deep into that depression, it was so hard for me to want to communicate with anybody, you know. But I made the right decision here recently to go and apply for a medical card so I could get back on some of the medication, such as an antidepressant, because that's what I realized when I turned 18. Excuse me, I'm really sorry. Excuse me again, I burped. When I turned 18, I basically I slept from couch to couch to couch, pretty much. I ended up, you know, weaning myself off my medication at 18, not realizing, you know, hey, maybe I do need some of this medication. Maybe I do to make myself better. I'm not going to sit there and say that every person with, you know, an illness, mental illness, needs medication. Like, for instance, when it comes to, like, an obsessive compulsive disorder person. I was actually diagnosed with that when I was 10 years old, which, when I was 13, they ended up diagnosing me with bipolar disorder, which I do see some kind of OCD things come up in me, like, you know, for instance, cleanliness. I'm very pissed off and irate if my home is not clean. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm in a shitty ass mood the whole time. Basically, like, for instance, with, like, an OCD person, okay? I'm gonna use, like, the show Hoarders for an example. Some of the people on Hoarders have obsessive compulsive disorder. Some of them hoard so much shit because it feels like it means something to them, but really, you know, it does not have sentimental value to them. It means nothing. They just don't want to get rid of it for fear of something. For instance, say, like, a little boy, he has obsessive compulsive disorder. He has to bounce that ball, that basketball, before he shoots it so many times. Otherwise, he's going to fear something's going to happen. Basically, it's kind of like you step on a crack, you break your mom's back. It's kind of like that in a way, but you actually think that will actually happen. It's not like a little joke between you and your little 5-year-old friends. It's something you actually think will happen. Not that I'm saying that, you know, a 5-year-old could be diagnosed with that, because I highly doubt that. But, you know, like, for instance, say an OCD person, and they had to have everything neat, clean, all times. If they had one fucking thing dropped on the fucking floor, they'd freak out. You know, I'd think that motherfucker would need some medication. I can understand if they like to keep their shit clean, but if something, you know, one little fucking crumb on the floor and they freak out, yeah, then the motherfucker needs some medication. But, you know, there's different, you know, what people don't understand is every mental illness is different. For every different person, it's going to be different, you know. Like, you know, there's some people that have more severe cases of schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder, ADHD, ADD. Like, for instance, my roommate, he has ADHD. That motherfucker's, like, bouncing off the walls 24/7. He can't, like, he has to have something, like, he'll be sitting there watching a movie, and he'll have, for instance, like, pop bottle. He'll be sitting there like this and stuff like that. That's, you know, that's something. He's hyperactive. He has to have something in his hands, keep himself occupied and everything. Or for instance, like with ADD, you know, you could be just like sitting there, you know, talking, blah blah blah. Then your like attention like draws to something completely fucking different and off subject. Basically kind of random person. Schizophrenia, basically you could be a paranoid, delusional. Delusional, basically you see, you hear stuff. Paranoid, you feel like everybody's out to fucking get you. Like, say you go to the grocery store and like, you just see like somebody glance over at you, you're like, oh shit, this motherfucker's gonna try to kill me. Oh shit. You know, something like that. I'm sure you guys are probably thinking like, oh, I thought she was going to actually be serious in this video. I am being serious. I'm just using, you know, a little bit more humorous examples to, you know, try to get people to listen. Because a lot of people don't want to listen to something so fucking serious. Most people want to listen to something that's got some humor into it. So that's why I'm placing a bit of humor here and there. Like with bipolar disorder, for instance, you have, you know, people will call it manic depressive disorder. Very few, most people know it by bipolar disorder. Like basically a manic episode is when you're in like one of your very, very high on top of the fucking world moods. Depressive is where you're like, for instance, in case you all didn't know, this is my apartment. Yes, I have an apartment now. It's fucking awesome. But, for instance, a depressive, you know, you're depressed. You're at your lowest point. The thing that sucks about it is you never know when you're gonna be happy, sad, you know, it'll just all, like, hit within 5 minutes. Multiple personality disorder. That's, like, in my opinion, probably one of the worst mental illnesses there is. Basically, you have different personalities. Let me try to think of an example for you guys. Hi, I'm America Evolution. Hi guys, I'm Bob. I like titties and beer and... Actually, that's not really a good example. I can't really imitate that shit, because that shit's just like... basically very, very extreme disorder, pretty much. Sorry, I thought I heard a noise. My apartment's haunted, by the way. It's fucking weird. I've got a little woman ghost that likes to fuck with me all the time, so if I, like, turn my head and look around somewhere, like, what the fuck was that? And it's probably because the ghost is fucking with me, like she normally does. Which makes my nights very interesting at home, especially alone, when I want to just piss all over myself because I'm so fucking terrified. But basically, as I was saying, you know, mental illnesses, you know, it's a serious matter. I may not have been able to explain things so well because I'm tired and I've been up for God knows how long, but I just wish people would comprehend it a bit more. As the main point in this video, I want people to understand it. I don't want people to fear others because they have something mentally wrong with them. I mean, you guys have seen me in the videos. At least most of you have seen me in the videos. You know, I'm goofy, I'm playful, you know, I have a big, huge heart, which you can't really tell that in the videos, because a lot of the time I'm just doing stupid shit. But the last thing I want people to do is to be afraid of me. My little brother, my youngest brother on my mom's side, he's absolutely terrified of me, because he had seen me when I was younger, a young teenager, when they had diagnosed me with bipolar. He had seen me flip out, go crazy, throw shit, flip tables over, take swings at other people. You know, he's seen me do that, and he's afraid of me. And I hate that more than anything, because I think the only time I ever really laid my hands on that kid and actually meant to hurt him was whenever he made a little comment about my dad, which I'm not going to sit here and say that two wrongs make a right, because I said something about his father first. So I kind of deserved what he said to me, but I did pick him up by his shirt collar, and I did throw him down on the couch, and possibly threatened to kill him. But that was when I was younger, and, you know, I wasn't so so calm like I am now. Nowadays, I'll just give you this look, and that basically means you might want to back up because I'm about ready to choke you look. Which I'm sure you guys have seen it in clips somewhere, me giving you that death stare, but the last thing we want is for people to be afraid of us, because, you know, a lot of us, we're not nothing to be afraid of. You know, we're all human beings. So please just treat us like we're humans, you know? We're not some kind of fucking pimple on the face of the earth. That's not what we are. We're just like you. We work. Some of us work every day. You know, we work hard for what we have. Some of us don't work because our problems are so bad that it's made it to where we can't work. You know, it's just like a mental illness. Like, say somebody's on a disability check because they have a mental illness. Think about people that are physically disabled. It's basically kind of the same in a way. Like, when you have a mental illness that's so severe that you can't hardly do anything, you can't keep a job, you can't, you know, keep a home, something like that, you know, because you're so depressed and you can't keep your job, you can't keep your home. No income, you know. Just like somebody that's physically disabled. They can't keep a job, they can't have a job because they can't work because something's physically wrong with them. Try to think of it, compare a physically disabled person to a mentally disabled person. It's basically the same. You know, we're humans. We're all equal on the inside. I don't care if you're white, black. I don't care if you're fucking orange like a fucking Oompa Loompa. I don't care if you're straight, bi, lesbian, homophobic. I don't care. Because in my eyes, we're equal. So why can't we all look the same way? Why can't we all have the same view that we're all equal? So why do we have to treat each other like we're not humans? But basically, I've pretty much run out of things to say about mental illness. I've pretty much repeated myself multiple times. When my mind's more clear, probably be never, because my mind's just like racing all the time. I'll try to make, you know, more videos like this. You know, the main thing I wanted to talk about the most was mental illness, because that's one thing that affects more people than you would think. But like I said before, you have a friend, they're upset, talk to them. Don't push them away. They want you to come over and talk to them. Do it. I think I just heard a car wreck outside. Anyways, like I said, treat everybody equally. You know, we all have the same insides. We're all the same. We're all equal. Plain and simple. Get that through your thick heads. And treat people nicely. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out things to say. So I'm going to end the video now, and just try to watch for some more videos. Hopefully the next one I'll sound like I'm more experienced about talking about shit. But yeah, if you like the video, please share. If you don't like it, dislike it, I don't give a shit. But yeah, anyways, bye bitches.